Hi guys, and first and foremost, Happy New Year to everybody. I hope that it was a well spent evening, and that the coming year will be one that is conducive with whatever dreams and objectives that we have in mind. And that above all we are able to do it with the required peace and tranquility that we deserve, all of us. Anyway, on to this year's first review, and it's a review of an old IEM, that's true, the Beyerdynamic Xelento. And the reason for this review is very simple. I have a friend of mine, Kevin. He asked me to take care of the purchase of this IEM for him, and he told me that he would love if I would have the opportunity to review it. And since Beyerdynamic is a brand that, well, is synonymous with high quality products, it's a brand that speaks for itself. Its reputation far precedes it. You know, all the more knowledgeable or the more into the hobby of us know that Beyerdynamic is a well-established brand. It oozes technology, it oozes quality, it oozes class. Of course, I said yes. Of course, I would love to. I mean, this is an IEM that costs $1,000. It's not exactly an IEM that I would probably buy, to be honest. Partly because although I recognize its qualities and I recognize that it's an amazing product, I just, you know, paying $1,000 for a single dynamic is something which is very unlikely for me to ever do. I'm very much a person that believes in the law of diminishing results or returns, and you know, having a product which is a fair bang for your buck. But anyway, that's just me. I'm sure that many people will consider the Xelento a more than adequately priced product, and that's it. I mean, some of us drive Fiats, some of us drive Bugattis. It is what it is. Anyway, this is the box. Simple, but class. Already with the box itself, you can start seeing this whole Beyerdynamic, philosophy. Inside that sleeve, you have the actual box itself, which opens up in this manner. The IEMs come sitting over here. This tray lifts out. Let me just get it out. There we go. And underneath there, you get the case over here, which I'll show to you now in a second. And then plenty of tips, which are oval shaped, as you can see. Okay, all right. And then you bring two cables, one which is with a mic, and another one which is just the standard cable, which I've got over here. They're both silver plated, really high quality cable. I mean, you can see it's a thin cable, but it's really high quality, and if there is any nitpick, it's probably in the terminations. It would have been nicer, and maybe perhaps as well a modular cable setup. But anyway, considering that this is an older model, this is a model that's maybe now 3-4 years old, perhaps even more, I'm not really sure. I guess it's fine and it's acceptable. So plenty of accessories, nothing lacking in that department, you know. It's got a little manual here with a quick start guide and a few things just to keep in mind. Anyway, that's it. So box out of the way, and then the actual case itself is again very nice case. You can see by the size of it. Okay, very nice case, good size. Magnets over here, opens it up, and the IEMs themselves, they will sit over there when you are done with them. The cable gets wound up here and fixed with this strap, and then we have an extra pair here of nozzle filters, and everything is very properly arranged. They're very German-like. It's, you know, this is I'm sure some of you will agree with what I'm saying. There are many instances where you look at something and you can identify automatically its origins. You look at a a Japanese car, and even when it doesn't have a badge, or even when it looks seemingly not Japanese, there is always something there which tells you that it's Japanese. You look at a German product and you can always identify it's German. You look at a French product and you can always identify it's French. And you pick up this, you know, and everything about it just, it oozes German. It oozes, okay, methodical execution, everything done, you know, within perfection, and it's very noticeable. Cable, as I said, the one with the no mic, nice cable. It's still got the normal kink in it because of it being wrapped the way it was, but it's got, I mean, really nice, really nice cable. Doesn't tangle or anything of the sort, as you can see, really good. MMCX terminations, as I mentioned. I'm not using the stock tips. I'm using these tips, which actually came with another IEM that I have. They were Audio Neon Pro, and these IEMs are tiny. I mean, trust me when I say that these things are small. They are small. I mean, here's a Kato, which is not a big IEM in my books, and here's a Kato compared to it. Let me just pick up the right hand side. There we go. I mean, it's tiny. It is really tiny. I don't even think that this video that I'm showing you is actually doing it justice. It is really small. Okay. Yes, obviously being small does have certain advantages. The one advantage is the fact that it sits inside of my ear lobe. Really nice. The one disadvantage that it does have is a disadvantage that plagues certain IEMs, Tanstrom Oxygen, Aureolus Isabelli, a few others, which is, since the length and diameter of the nozzle play an important role in the overall tuning of the IEM, in the case of the Xelento, it's really short, really short, and being short makes it complicated to then have it inserted inside of your ear. Okay, thus for some this could be an issue. I did some measurements of the Xelento with different tips, and you know, with the tip that allows for deeper insertion, I was able to shift certain peaks that it has further down, or further up rather, in the frequency range. But in my case, and for me to be able to wear them, you know, in a half decent manner, I had to use these relatively wide bore, larger size tips. But anyway, the fitment aside, the truth is, this is a really premium looking IEM. It's got quality in construction which is conducive with what its price is. It looks the part, it looks the business. Once it's inside of my ears, or inside your ears of most people, you won't even notice that it's there. So it's very comfortable to use, doesn't fatigue you, they weigh nothing. It's just really the depth of the insertion which will perhaps cause some problem in terms of its overall fixation. Anyway, on to what we all want to know, which is what do these $1,000 IEMs sound like? What is their characteristic in terms of sound? What do they offer? What do they bring to the table? Well, let me put it to you this way. I believe that, and this is just me, and please take this, you know, with that notion in mind. I believe that these IEMs are slightly overpriced. I believe that you are paying a little bit of the fact that it says Beyerdynamic there. Yes, I do believe that. But having said that, I also have to say that the sound that they offer, although a sound that is not perhaps going to be pleasing to the majority of people, is a very good sound. It is an IEM which has a more darker kind of signature. It's got amazing bass. The bass on the Xelento, and I actually do not know the size of the driver inside here, but I'm assuming that it's not a 10mm driver. I'm assuming that it's a smaller driver. But the bass on the Xelento is absolutely perfect. It's got this quickness, this ability to start and stop, which is uncommon or not normal in cheaper IEMs, and obviously only in more expensive IEMs. Once budget allows it, you can utilize better drivers. You start seeing this kind of characteristics coming along. So it's got that kind of BA ability to start and stop very quickly, which usually is not very easy to find on a dynamic driver. Dynamic driver, unless it's a very high quality dynamic driver, it'll always have a certain sluggishness to it, let's say. Okay, again, take that with a grain of salt, and that's the one characteristic that straight away comes to, or I was able to pick up, was on how quick the bass is, and unconditional. For example, from Soul Persona, which is a song that I like listening to, it's got this quickness to the initial, the beginning of the song. The way the drums are done, and it does it beautifully. Sweat from Danny Kaye and Princess Frasier, another song that again you notice that quickness of the bass, that speed. It's got very nice sub bass, very nice mid bass. And having said all this about the bass, okay, I don't want you to now think that, oh no, this is a sub bass monster, this is a bass head. No, it's not. This is about high quality bass, but it's being done in a way that it's very, very capable with multiple genres of music. So it's not about just listening to more jazz or more classical, and then it won't be able to boogie with a little bit more high intensity. No, it is very much capable, trust me. Pretty Thoughts from Gary Matias, another song that beautiful. I mean, honestly, it does it really, really amazing. So the bass department on the Xelento, nothing to say about it. Mids, this was again the other part that straight away surprised me. It didn't initially surprise me when I listened to it by itself. I felt and I could see straight away that it was, or hear rather, that it was a high quality mid presentation, vocals, instruments and everything. But you really only start noticing how good it is when you start putting other IEMs into the mix and comparing them. And here is where what I was just saying a couple of minutes ago about where this might not be an IEM that will please all. This is the area where I think this becomes evident. And let me see if I can explain this. When you listen to an IEM like, for example, the Kato or the Airship from Seacreel, or the Tanstrom Oxygen, or the the Sonic Memories SM2, although I didn't have those ones out here because I just didn't want to crowd too much this comparison. You notice that the mids are easy to like because they've got this liveliness to them. They've got this life to them that it's very, it just draws you in. It pushes you in, okay? The mids on the Xelento are done in a the mids and actually the highs as well, they're done in a very smooth manner. They're done in a very kind of unassuming fashion. And it's when you start listening to certain songs with more attention that you start seeing how good they are. They go and fetch details which perhaps on the others they are also there, but because the presentation, the way of putting things forward is so much more lively, you maybe just get distracted and you don't have to, you end up not paying so much attention to how the Xelento does the mids and the vocals. Songs like, for example, let me give you an example, Moon River from Jacinta. you know, you listen to that song on the Oriolos Esabilai, you listen to that song on the Kato, you listen to that song on the Sikril, but especially on the Oriolos and on the Kato, and her voice is just, you melt, honestly. The way you can hear the little, you know, that of her voice, it just is exquisite. I mean, honestly, really fantastic. When you listen to that particular song on the Xelento, you straight away do see that there's a difference. Those ones there will draw you in quicker, will attract you, will grab your attention quicker. But then, as you go on, as you continue to listen to the song, and maybe this could be an issue with brain burn and you're getting used to it, although in this particular case I was swapping IEM so quickly, I don't think it is that. You then start noticing, oh wow, it actually went and picked up that little detail. Oh wow, and her voice just comes across, wow, so real, so organic. And that's, I think, one of the main characteristics that kind of seduced me about the Xelento, is that it is very organic. It is very, it has that kind of organicness, that kind of old school sound that the Tenstrom Oxygen gives you, that the Oriolos gives you, that the Penon Serial gives you. It's got that very old school. It's old school. It's that vinyl touch, let's put it that way. And it's a touch that you either like or you don't like. If you are a person that loves detail, that loves that in-your-face kind of transparency and clinical presentation and so on and so forth, then I feel that that Xelento might leave you wanting for it more, because you know, graphically you can see that it's got this nice big full sub bass and mid bass. It bleeds a little bit into the mids, but nothing really you know, that's significant. And then it has a very nice gradual pinna gain, peaks around 2.5 give or take, and then it's got this peak at 5. And no matter what I try to do with tips, that peak always stayed at 5, a little bit higher, a little bit lower. And were it not for the fact that the mids, the lower mids, the mid bass, all of that have this tonality, this timbre, this way of just presenting themselves, I feel that 5K peak would have been an issue. At least for me, it would have been an issue, because it's an area which I'm sensitive to. And where you see that this is a really smart way of tuning, is that, for example, when I take the Sikril, the airship, which is a fantastic single DD, by the way. I think it's an IM that hasn't really gotten much attention, because there's so many that, you know, you can feel that 5K there peak, or that 5K presentation is there. It's not that it's peaky, but you can feel the 5K presentation is there, and you feel it not in an aggressive or harsh manner, but you know that it's there. Here it's very subdued, very relaxed. The same thing goes to a certain extent to the Kato. You can feel that the overall presentation of the mids, although very flat, very smooth, can perhaps on occasions reach a point where you think, oh no, I'm not gonna put this higher and higher because maybe it's gonna start getting harsh, but in reality it doesn't happen. While over here you have a sense of scaling which is kind of almost limitless. You feel that you can carry on putting up the volume and nothing's going to go out of whack, nothing's going to go out of balance, and everything will just continue to be presented in this nice, smooth, very polished manner. And, you know, the Zabilai, those which know me know that the Zabilai and the Oxygen are my two babies in terms of single DDs. So, you know, if you ask me which one I would choose, Xelento or Zabilai, I will say Zabilai. I'm sorry. I don't want in any way to say that or you know, I don't want to be mean or anything. I just like the Xelento more. I like the Oxygen more as well. I just decided to have these three because I didn't want to crowd things, like I said. So as I have just mentioned, comparing the Xelento with the Aureolus satisfies me more. It's got the same organicness to the sound. It's got the same kind of quality presentation, but it's just got that little extra cleanliness up top. It's just got that extra liveness, which overall for the majority of the stuff that I listen to just pleases me more. And also in terms of its fit, I have no issues with it, which I do have a little bit here with Xelento. With regards to the Kato, and if I compare it with the Kato, and this is where now I know that this will probably generate a little bit of it's going to be a little bit polemic what I'm about to say, but if the Xelento, instead of having a price tag of $1,000, was priced at around $300, or let's say $350, then I would say yes, I prefer the Xelento over the Kato. But because of the price tag that it has, no, I will ultimately at the end of the day actually choose the Kato over the Xelento. It's not as polished. The Kato is got more of a clinical presentation as compared to the Xelento. It's got a different way of doing things. It's not that it's worse, or it's got a different way of doing things, but it's a way that ultimately satisfies me more. And you know, when I consider that I can buy this for $170, $180 as opposed to this, you know, it's something which there isn't anything really that the Xelento brings extra to the table which compensates such a gigantic price difference. Okay, I like the cleanliness of the sound here because it's been very well matched with the rest of the presentation. The bass has got a little bit more slam there than what it's got here, and yeah, that's basically it. I mean, it's a very smooth, relaxed, classy sound here, and that one is a little bit more clinical. But you know, it's the price which makes it really be a no-brainer in terms of which one you ultimately can go for. As for the airship, as I mentioned, is a very nice sounding IM. Obviously priced at a value which is similar to the Kato, it loses to the Kato, period. I mean, let's be honest. I'm not gonna, you know. And I think that's really the biggest issue with the airship, is that it should have been an IM at a lower price point. It should have been an IM priced at around $110, $120, and there, yes, there it would have maybe been more capable of causing some damage, of gathering some momentum. Granted, at that price you have the Olina and the Olina SE, and those two IMs as well, you know, far exceed their ability to perform at that price point. You don't expect a $100 IM to play that well. Actually, you can pick up the Olina SE right now for about $85. So for $85, for you to be able to pick up an IM which can perform like the Olina SE performs, you know, that's a tough one. That is a really tough one. The Xelento compared to there is a better sounding IM. Yes, it is. There you can feel that the way that the upper mids and highs have been done is a little bit less polished than what perhaps would be the ideal. It doesn't hurt me, it doesn't bug me. There is even talk that the driver used in there is the same as the driver used in the Olina and the driver used in the Oxygen. I cannot confirm nor deny. What I do know is that all those drivers are drivers of the same family, and although I have seen the drivers of the Olina and I have seen the drivers of the Oxygen, and there are very minor differences in them, which can then obviously account for the actual difference that there is in sound. The same thing as with the driver of the Melee and the driver of the Olina, although physically, and I've had both drivers in my hand, they look identical. There are minor differences internally which dictate the way that they then perform. Overall, what is my conclusion about the Xelento? It's a high-end product, and it has a high-end price tag. You know, if you want bang for the money, then it's going to be hard for me to justify it. If I have to judge it in terms of sound and how it's, you know, what it's capable of in terms of sound, I say that the Xelento is an IM capable of giving you a sound like a Kato, a sound like almost an oxygen. So capable of giving a sound of a single DD IM priced at around $170 to $250. That's the kind of sound that this gives you. And like I said, there's a lot more IMs that I could have compared it to, and I'm not even going to mention just to not confuse things. So it's an IM that, in terms of its sound, it has the ability of performing or offering the sound of an IM in the, let's say, mid-price range. It's got the accessories which help contribute to giving it a bit more of a higher end feel. But ultimately, you know, you're paying for Beyerdynamic. That's the main thing here. And, you know, only you and you alone can justify or say if you are willing to go that far and give that kind of money. I hope I can try and find somehow a way of testing the Xelento, the second generation. From the reviews that I've seen, it apparently has been a big upgrade over the original, and I'm curious to actually listen to it. I have to say, after listening to the Xelento and seeing how it plays and being seduced by it to a certain extent, I have to say that I have been seduced by it. I've been captivated enough by it. I do want to see if I can find means of listening to the second generation, and that's it. Anyway, guys, as always, like and subscribe. Any questions that you might have, please feel free to ask. Yeah, looking forward to this year. Looking forward to bringing you many reviews. Looking forward to actually improving the way that I'm showing you and presenting you these reviews. Although this first few ones will kind of maintain the format that I have used up to now. As always, I'm open to any suggestions that you guys might have. Any you know, anything. I'm those that know me or that have gotten to know me a little bit know that I'm a very easy person. I'm a very easygoing person. I'm very straightforward. I say my mind. I speak my mind, and that's, I think, a characteristic that has been lost in today's society. I have absolutely no problems in telling you straight to your face what I think of you, what I don't think of you, and that applies itself to products. You know, I mean, if I like something, I'll say that it's good, and that's it. If I don't like something, I'll also say why I don't like it. And you know, this is a hobby at the end of the day, which is very relative. It's a hobby that you can't really be black and white. You have to always have a certain amount of gray area, because what I like doesn't necessarily mean that you won't, and vice versa. Anyway, guys, have a good one. Take care. Bye bye.